Well, hello everybody and welcome down to a rather wet allotment. Hope you're all well, having a great day, and happy Halloween, of course. Now, because it is Halloween, it is time to harvest our pumpkins and see how well they got on. Now, some of you might remember back on the King's coronation, I sowed 2 pumpkin seeds, which we called Charles and Camilla, just as a bit of fun. And the reason I sowed these pumpkins is because the variety was Crown Prince. Now, I grow pumpkins to eat. I don't grow them for carving. I love to eat our pumpkins. And Crown Prince is one of my favourite seeds. But the trouble that become is that the seeds I got came from a seed swap, and I don't think that these pumpkins are Crown Prince. Let me show you why. So this is my largest pumpkin here out of all of them. This is growing on Charles, and the reason I don't think it is a Crown Prince is because of a colour. Crown Prince is usually a different colour. Now there's nothing wrong with this. I quite like the colour of it, and I like the way it looks. We will harvest this in a minute and see how heavy it is. It's perfectly good. But the same with Camilla, the varieties, the colours all just look different and different sizes. So I don't think these seeds from the seed swap have worked. That's a lesson learned for next year. I'm sure it's still going to be perfectly edible and perfectly good. Now I actually grow both of these pumpkins in what I call my composting beds, which are basically beds I've set up that I fill up with compostable materials so that they rot down in situ. I usually grow pumpkins in our compost bins, and that always works. No, it didn't. I'm not saying it didn't work, it's just I'm going more for aesthetically, and I didn't like the look of these beds. I don't think they were really deep enough to warrant it. So in future years I'm not going to grow them in composting beds like this. They're going to be growing in the compost bins. But let's get all these pumpkins harvested and see how heavy they work out as. Right, so I've got my scales set up. I'm inside the greenhouse, and just to prove, we've zeroed the scales. These are scales I use for work, so I know they are accurate. First pumpkin is the one I just showed you, and that has came in at 4.8 kilos. That's not bad actually, I'm quite happy with that. Just under 5 kilos. That one came from Charles. Now, this next one also came from Charles. Not too disheartened with this one actually. And what I should do before I do that, just to prove to you, zero it again. Make sure it's on 0. We'll put it down on here. And funny enough, that comes out to just over 5 kilos. That's a little bit heavier, a little bit bigger, which is surprising because it doesn't look like it's much bigger. So now for Camilla, we'll just make sure it's zeroed again, and this is what we've got, this tiny little green pumpkin from Camilla, which I'm not too impressed with. The plant itself has completely died away, so and we're not going to get any more out of it, and that comes in just over half a kilo. Not overly impressed with that, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Now again, I've got one more. Well, I've got a couple more pumpkins, but just zeroed that. And this one was one that was growing in the compost bin. And again, the plant has deteriorated away, and it is starting to turn a little bit orange, so it might ripen. But obviously on the vine, well, the vine's not there, so it's not going to do any better. Place that on there somehow. Stop it from rolling, in theory. Right. In theory, it should work. There we go. Got it there. So just under half a kilo, so a little bit smaller. Now one more pumpkin that we have that I'll go grab now. Right. So once again, we zero it. And this is a pumpkin. This one was growing just in a bed, a bed that had beans and things growing in it as well. And I mean, it's not the biggest. It comes in at 1.778. Let's say 1.8 kilos, so just under 2 kilos. But I'm happy with that, to be fair. I can't remember what variety this is. It's not a Crown Prince. But I'm happy with that as a pumpkin. That'll probably do a couple of meals, maybe a nice soup or something. So I'm not too disheartened with what we've got. So overall, I'm quite happy with the pumpkins that we have got. We're certainly going to get several meals out of those. As I said, we grow them for eating, not for carving. So plenty of soups, plenty of risotto, plenty of pumpkin pie. We're going to turn those into. Cannot wait to get stuck in. But what I'd like to know down below, if you have a favourite pumpkin recipe, what is it? Let us know. I always like to experiment and try with different pumpkins recipes and see what we can do. Now I have to admit, I've had better years with pumpkins. I'm not saying that these are bad at all, but I have had better years, and I've learned that I'm not going to get seeds for pumpkins from a seed swap again. I'm just going to buy them in. I might actually save some seeds from these to try again if they taste good enough. Right guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again next time.